So wrapping up the sale, this is the step 5 in the 5 steps that we have for selling the product POS. And as you've probably determined by now, selling POS is not the same as selling credit card processing. There's a little more to it. There's a lot more features that are involved, a lot more understanding, and there are 5 distinct steps. Just as a recap, step 1 was the actual finding of the lead generation. And I have listed here the different types of leads that you could do, purchasing the list all the way up to referrals. In this case, it was probably the least productive, which is a list purchase, all the way up to the most productive, which are the obvious referrals from existing sites. The only different one is the website leads. The website leads are different in that they probably already researched you and know about you, and that they probably jumped ahead of you. They've already done their research. They know they want to do business with you, or they at least like the product that you represent. So this one does jump ahead a little bit in the sales process, but overall, lead generation is step 1. Step 2 is lead qualification. They do need to have these 3 in order to be truly qualified. They have to have the need to buy, the ability to pay for it, and have to be that decision maker, even if it's a husband-wife team or husband-wife-child. Somewhere in there, you're going to have to get all the decision makers involved in this. And the reason that this step is so important is that I've had website leads that came in that were from a server who got tired of the point-of-sale system that was installed in the restaurant, turn in the lead, and when you contact them, you find out, well, it wasn't the owner that submitted the lead, it was somebody else. So qualification is important. Then you need to do a needs analysis. In that, you want to find out about the operation, how they run it, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. And in that, you're going to look for 3 to 5 pain points that you're then going to use in the next step, which is the presentation. 3 steps to that. Sell yourself, present the solution, and then justify the investment. Once you've done that, it makes the final step, step 5, so much easier. It's easier. It's wrapping up the sale, putting a bow on it, making this thing work for both of you and the end user. You already know they need it because you've done the qualification. You know that. Then you've proven it with your solution and your return on investment and justification. Then that just leads up to my favorite close, which is, let's just do business. Let's find a way to do business. So over the years of training, I've been asked, do you give an itemized proposal? That is a proposal that just has all the items listed with a bottom line price? No. I'll do an itemized proposal, and I say it's not only a must, it's an absolute. You have got to do an itemized line-by-line proposal. List all the items with the prices. And when you're doing that, be sure and include the cables. You want to have this particular printer, this model, and this kind of cable, this type of connector, this type of router, this connector for the router. How many Ethernet cables are you going to use? List all the items with their prices. Show the software price. List price on all the software, and then also the services. You want to list your database build, how much that is, your burn-in process. If you have a setup fee, do you have an installation fee? Do you have a wiring fee? Do you have training? Is it by the hour or by the day? List the services that you're going to provide to this end user with the prices that go along with that. You do all that so that you can build the value. If you don't build the value in the proposal, then it's going to be very hard just to justify the investment here in just a few minutes. Once value has been established, then show the discount for the software and the services. It is at that point that you're going to show then the discount of $9.95 per license for the software. It's then you're going to show the $9.95 per year discount for the free support. So show the price first, then show the discount on the proposal. Also, at this point, be sure and show a lease price for the hardware. This could be a price that you obtain from a leasing company, or a lot of our dealers finance it themselves. They have a price that they have for their hardware that you work out that works for you. It could be $59, $79, $99 a terminal. Whatever that works for you, then also propose the lease price for the hardware. Then you have to have three major assumptions when you're going into the close aspect of the sale. The first thing you're going to assume is you have competition, because you do. And I'll explain to you the competition that I have lost to more than any other competitor. I will explain what that is. But just know you do have competition on every sale. Assume that they're going to comparison shop you, especially now with the internet, how easy it is to do that. Assume that they're going to comparison shop. And finally, you're going to assume your price is too high. No matter what you do, your price is going to be too high. Itemized proposals help with the competition. They help by the fact that most of them don't itemize their proposal. So your competition probably is not itemizing, and by doing so, that you're creating doubt in that competitor's quote. You're then creating that doubt, makes that end user wonder what they're hiding. If you're going to be so open and honest and transparent in your pricing, why isn't your competition doing that? And then finally, so many of them are just focused on the bottom line. They don't worry about anything else. They're a price sales person. And if that's what they're leading with is price, that's the only thing they have to have value in, then they're going to be discounting where you may not have to. Now, the competitor that I have lost to more than anybody else is the status quo, them doing nothing. And that is one of your competitors. They may just stay with what they have now. They may just stay with their current system. Just know, and if they do, the ROI that you did is still in effect. It's still valid. Those losses and pain points probably won't go away, even though in their mind they're going to say, well, I'm going to stop the theft by getting rid of that employee. Well, that's not going to stop the theft from the future employees. They have to put in the stop gaps in order to make that happen. The losses are going to continue, such as the hard savings that are in place now. Just because they stay with the system that they currently have does not make it magically all of a sudden have a warranty. That printer that keeps breaking is going to continue to break. The terminals will wear out. So those hard savings are in place. And oh, by the way, the credit card savings that you were showing them, they're still going to have losses because they didn't go with you. So focus on those hard savings if they're saying to you, I'm going to stay with my current system. Itemized proposals do help with the comparison shopping. And you saying, how is that helping? Because I'm showing all my prices? Well, you're showing your price, plus you're showing the price for let's say the printer. You're also showing the cable, which is something that the end user is going to forget about when they're shopping you. Show the cable on there. Show the connector. Show the Ethernet cable. Price all this out so that they can see that you're really not hosing them, that you're not trying to take advantage of them, and that your prices are fair. And so what if you're a little higher? You provide the warranty. Get to that in a minute. The itemized proposal forces your competition to come out of their comfort zone, and all of a sudden, they have to justify every line item, and they don't want to do it. Assume that your prospect is going to shop you on Amazon. Well, then you need to go to Amazon too and make sure your numbers are not out of line with what they're going to find. Make sure the prices are in line for the same identical printer and not some alternative printer. If you're proposing the Aldelo Express, make sure that that printer has the iOS drivers in it. Not every printer does. And some of the off-brands, well, in fact, most of the off-brands don't, and they will not work with any Apple system, not just ours. So compare shopping on Amazon yourself. Know that the numbers are there and that you're not out of line. If they purchase the printers off of another site like that, just remind them that they're going to be responsible for the warranty. That if you didn't sell it, you're not warranting it. You're not an Epson warranty repair center. So you don't get paid to warranty somebody else's sale. If they buy it off of Amazon, that's where they need to get their warranty work from, is from Amazon. Stay focused on the end goal, not the profit you're going to make on that little printer. If you make 50 to 100 bucks, if you lose that sale for the printer, stay focused on the end goal, because you'll make that up on the first time they call you for support. Don't worry about it. Stay focused. And then there's price too high. You have to assume every sale they're going to be thinking your price is too high. No matter if you're at dead cost, you're still too high. This is nothing more than a conditioned response by the end user in their own weak negotiation skills. They think that if they can hit you up on price and get you to reduce the price, that is a win on their part. It is nothing more than a negotiation response, and just recognize it as that. Because if you're prepared for this, you're not going to fear it. You're going to be actually excited when they say it. And I say excited because they obviously like the solution. They didn't tell you that it was ugly. They didn't tell you they didn't like the screen. They didn't tell you that it won't work in their restaurant. What they're saying is a conditioned response, which is your price is too high. They like the solution. Now it's just a matter of price and or value. You have to get the two where they match. Nothing more. It's really that simple. You're the professional in this situation. You need to act like it. And in doing so, you're going to prepare all your responses. You're going to be like, okay, I'm to the close now. We're going to talk about price. I've itemized it. Now, here are the total number of options that they're going to hit me with. Here are the comebacks that your price is too high. This printer is too expensive. You don't have enough training here. You're charging me for this. There's all these different objections that they can hit you with. Prepare for those, and then be ready for those objections, because you know they're coming. They always do. So, the way to handle that. The first one is an old, tried and true. It's called the porcupine close. And this one where they come at you and they say the price is too high, and you then throw it back at them. And you go, the price is too high? And you leave it at that. And you let them defend why they just told you the price is too high. What you're doing is trying to uncover where the objection really lies, what the problem really is. And once you find out, then you can just sell the difference. And by selling the difference, that means they can tell you, well, your competition, they're at 8,000 and you're at 9,000. Well, now you're excited because you don't have to sell the 8,000. They've already bought it. They've already bought that price from your competitor. All you have to do is sell the difference between that 8,000 and whatever yours is. So sell the difference. You can do this by offering maybe alternative hardware. If you are in the Aldelo Express product, if you're offering Epson printers, you might have then your Star printer as your backup. It's your alternate hardware. It's a less expensive option. You may have some other things that you can do. If you're in the Aldelo POS, and you have the one-piece solution is the product that you've proposed, maybe you can switch over to two-piece hardware. It's significantly less to have a separate touchscreen monitor and a PC. A lot less money, and in some cases, a little more margin for you if you switch to a two-piece hardware instead of the all-in-one. And then there is always the OTN, and people go, well, what's that? What's other than new? I don't like to use the word used, and I don't like refurbished. I like other than new. And everybody should have other than new hardware that they can propose into a system. This will carry less warranty, so there's a little give and take on the customer's part. They don't maybe get the 3-year warranty of the new, but they can get a reduced price going with OTN hardware and maybe get a 90-day warranty, whatever you're going to offer. But these are alternatives to discounting. Come back with a different price based upon the different hardware options. And then there's something called quid pro quo. When I learned this, it changed the way I close. It changed my success rate tremendously. And quid pro quo is two parts to it, really. One is getting value for your discount. Don't just give a discount in order to get the sale. That's not good enough. That's the wrong approach to it. If you're going to give a discount, get something in return. And that might be a reference. Mr. Customer, if I really do, if I give up this 10% discount you're asking for, I'm going to need something in return. Possibly the option to bring customers here and have them look at your system and you be a good reference for me. Would that be something you'd be willing to do? Another thing you could do, look at referrals. I always try to get 3 referrals or more if I got a 10% discount involved. I had to make that something of value to both of us. Them, a reduced price, me, reference, and referrals. Another way to look at this is give value so you don't have to give the discount. This is my favorite way of doing it, in that you could maybe give quarterly preventative maintenance for 1, 2, or 3 years. A PM is where you walk in with a clean rag, some 409, and you scrub down their hardware. You check the cables to make sure they're not being frayed. You vacuum out the printers. You vacuum out the terminal. You get that dust and stuff out of there. What you're really doing is, yeah, you're extending the life of the hardware, but you're also looking for potential support costs, and that you're trying to prevent that cable from breaking and causing a connection problem. You're also in that operation and you're checking on them. You're talking with the owner. You're making contact. You're keeping that customer happy, so it's harder for your competition to take them away. So it's a benefit for both you and the end user. Come up with the price at what you normally would charge for that. Maybe it's an hour service call. And that would be, in lieu of a discount, you give quarterly preventative maintenance instead. Something that I know some people do is they will give paper and ribbons away. I'm not so much in favor of that because there is a physical hard cost on those, but that's something that you could do as a quid pro quo, is if maybe you don't want a discount, but maybe you'll give them 3, 4 cases of paper and ribbons in exchange for a discount. You have a little bit of margin on those, so it's not such a severe hit on you, but nonetheless, that's something people do. And then another one, actually my very favorite, is to give extra days of training. Instead of a discount, let me give you an extra day of training. That's actually $500 of value. Let's do that instead. That's a benefit to you, and what do you say? Let's do business. That's why it was so important for you to give prices when you did the itemized proposal. You want to be able to build the value in those training days. I used to charge $500 a day. You may charge more, you may charge less, but somehow there has got to be a value there that you have to establish on the proposal that then allows you to be using that as a bargaining chip later on. I also want you to avoid negative words. This was a little challenging for me at first. I had to learn to change my vocabulary And every once in a while I still stumble, but nonetheless, avoid words like contract. Contract is a negative word. It solicits or elicits fear that they need to get an attorney involved. So don't say the word contract. And we're all guilty of saying application. You have a lease application. You have a credit application. You have a credit card processing application. We all have these applications. Well, stop saying that, because if an application, you can be turned down. That's the negative of that word is application has the opportunity for a negative side to be turned down. You don't ever want to sign anything. You were taught from a kid, don't sign anything without talking to an attorney. Don't sign anything. Cost is a negative word, so don't use the word cost, and don't use the words check or deposit. Here are some words to use instead. Instead of contract, say agreement. It's a lot softer, has the same meaning. Instead of a lease application, how about we do the lease paperwork? And when you don't sign the lease paperwork, you approve it. And when you're looking at the proposal, it's not cost, it's an investment. Business people understand investments. They understand that they're going to get a return on that investment. You don't get a return on a cost. It's just gone. It's gone forever. But an investment, that comes back. And then initial investment. You don't have a deposit or get a check or write me a check. You're going to have initial investment. If you can start using these words instead of the negative words, it's a small thing, but it makes a difference. It keeps things on the positive side, and that's what you want. Follow up. This was something that came up in one of our surveys we did, and it was something very disappointing in that we had people who were giving out quotes. Remember, that's a negative word. They were giving out quotes and then never following up. So in our situation, in our case, and what we're training you to do is do a email the same day as you do the proposal, you do the presentation, you send in that email the confirming ROI data that you went over with them during that presentation. Remind them of the pain points that you're going to solve with your solution. Bring up the key points to make sure that they are in agreement with you, such as this feature is going to work in your situation better than what you have now. So it may not be the ROI data, it just may be the key points, but things that were important to them, put it in there, including any negotiations for quid pro quo, whereas you're going to commit to do quarterly PMs or case of paper or an extra day of training. Put all those points in there. Then references if needed. And I put if needed because if they don't ask, they may not need them. And if they don't need them and you put them in, that could slow down the process of them trying to find those references. So if they need them, include them. If they don't, ask for them. I don't know. That's your call, but I don't like to do it. And so email the same day and then follow up within 24 to 48 hours via phone. And then accordingly thereafter as needed until you get the sale. There's a phrase that I like to use. It's either buy or die. They're either going to buy from me or I'm going to die trying. So keep in touch with them. Do the follow-up. 24 to 48 hours by phone and until they purchase. So let's wrap this up with setting a goal. We found that a lot of our dealers, not all, but a lot of our dealers are selling 2 out of 10. That is 20%. Out of 10 proposals, they were closing 2 sales. That's a lot of work for 2 sales, but they were doing 2 out of 10. If they were to move to 4 out of 10, that is only 40%, that doubles their sales with no extra effort. So by using or eliminating the negative words, using the positive words, qualifying the customer, doing a needs assessment, doing a presentation, not just giving a quote, but actually looking for the pain points and doing a cost justification of the solution. Then moving into the sale, the close of that sale, by using honest and ethical tactics, you can then double your sales by just going to 4 out of 10. Continue your closing percent increase over time, and eventually we'd like to see you at an 80% close rate. I know that this is doable because I had that 80% close rate using the procedures and the steps that I've shown you in the prior videos. It is possible to do this, and I know it from the fact that I've done it myself.
For more information about Aldelo and our products, you can always call us at 800-801-6036 or email us at sales@aldelo.com. If you have a support question, email support@aldelo.com, or you can check us out at the family of websites that we have, Aldelo.com, AldeloPay.com, and the Aldelo.express.